morning, boys and girls. We have been having some lessons about who is God, and this morning we're going to learn another lesson about who God is, and that is that God is all-powerful. This morning, I brought my pretend altar, and we're going to have a story about Elijah. In the Bible, a man named Elijah had a contest with a bunch of guys who worshiped a fake god whose name was Baal. Elijah wanted to show them that God is all-powerful. So each group built an altar and put a sacrifice on it. A sacrifice is a valuable gift that you give to God, even though it costs you something to give it up. Now, in Bible times, that sacrifice was usually an animal that they sacrificed. So when Elijah built the altar, he did something a little bit different. He didn't just pile up stones and wood to build the altar. He actually dug a trench around it, and that's why I put this in a bowl. And then he poured 4 big jars of water all over the altar, and I'm going to do that, and we'll see what happens. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, here's what's kind of weird about what Elijah did. The contest was to see whose God could light the sacrifice on fire. Well, do you know what happens when you try to light something that's wet on fire? Well, if you want to lose a contest where you had to light something on fire, water would probably be a good thing to use. But Elijah didn't want to lose. He just trusted that God is all-powerful and could do the impossible, like light something wet on fire. In fact, he told the people to pour 4 more jars of water on it. And then he told them to do it a 3rd time. Well, by now the altar was absolutely soaked. In fact, it was flooded. The water surrounded the altar, filled the trench around it, and here's something else you should know. Samaria, the place where the contest took place, was in the middle of a drought, which meant there hadn't been rain in 3 years, and all the plants had died. So that meant all the people were hungry and they were thirsty because crops weren't even growing for them to eat. But Elijah knew that God was all-powerful. Not only could God light something wet on fire, but God is also the one who sends rain and provides food. Elijah wasn't worried about wasting water because God had promised rain. He had promised that rain was coming soon, and he trusted in God's power to send the rain. Let's see what happens. I'm going to read from the Bible. At the time of sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed, "O Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and I am your servant, and have done all these things at your command. Answer me, O Lord, answer me, so these people will know that you, O Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again." Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, burned up the wood, burned up the stones and the soil, and also licked up all the water in the trench. So God is all-powerful, and he won the contest. And that's our story for this morning. I've attached a couple pages to the email I sent this morning. And if you want to print those at home, if you want something to do today or later this week. One of the papers is a picture of Elijah and the altar. And then this is a picture of the flame of fire. And you can cut this out, slice an opening here, and you can feed that fire up through the sacrifice. The other paper is a puzzle paper, and you would look at the code. This little square says C1, so you would cut that out and then find the box C1 on the puzzle square, and then when you get all finished, it will have a message. The third paper is a slideshow pattern. Here's the altar with the fire, and there's 2 slits to cut. And then this is your story strip, and you would feed that through, and it actually shows you how the story went this morning. Boys and girls, have a most wonderful week, and I will see you next Sunday morning.